Welcome back to Vice Grip Garage. We've been hammering away all week on this 1970 Cadillac Sedan DeVille. Triple white, pretty snazzy. Today we're going to try to get the air conditioning to work. Does it really matter? Nope. Would it be neat? Yep. What in the devil? Stepped on a brake drum. That was from last night. Anyway, while I'm working on the air conditioning and a few other things, Bentley's with me again. He's cleaning up the interior, gonna do a re-vacuum, wipe down the seats, treat them with some leather treatment again. We actually drove this home last night. It was the first time we've ever driven this car other than when we originally brought it home and locked up a brake caliper and some other stuff. Ran out of gas, you know, the usual. But that caused a hurricane of just stuff to come flying and floating all over the place, mainly from under the dash. So he's gonna be helping me out there. I can tell you right now, we've already tried the blower motor 397 times. We got no blower motor. So we're gonna jump right in. I'm gonna show you how to test out your blower motor relay and the motor itself. Super simple. Then we can order up some parts. While we're waiting for those, there's a long, to be continued list of stuff that we can do on this car. So we just noticed on the way over this morning, we obviously missed on the top of the visors just a tickle when we were cleaning. Jessica's fault. No, I'll take responsibility. Anyway, we're gonna clean this up and I wanna show you this product. I've never seen it before. Coverall, I just found it at the store this morning and thought we'd try it. It says Zap It. And it worked amazing on the other one. I just want to show you guys this. Let me get these wasps out of here quick. And we struggled with the headliner finding anything that would work and not smear. And this stuff, in fact, I don't even have to use a brush. It'll just, look at that, it'll just blast the stuff right out of it. So, I don't know, if you've got stubborn headliner stains, try this stuff. I don't think it was that expensive either. Not sure, probably was. That's more like it. These things look brand new now. If you're interested in filling up your AC system, getting the ice cubes shooting out of the vents again, there's a lot of stuff out there that really overcomplicates this, and I don't know, 72 steps and all this stuff. It's really simple, fellers. If you've got a system that's already on 134 and it's empty, compressor's not kicking on, you just fill it up. If you've got a system that's on the old 112, you just put the adapter on it and then you just fill it up. If you've got a system that's full on 112, that's pretty cool. Use it. Might be something else wrong with your system, but if not, just empty it, recycle it, put the adapter on, and then you just fill it. And that's it. That's pretty much all there is to it. Of course, there could be something else wrong, like a condenser or evaporator or whatever else, but most of these have pressure safety switches, so if your compressor isn't even kicking on, you don't have enough pressure in the system for it to say, I can make ice cubes. So start there. And a lot of basic systems, you have a fan switch, which we have, you have a blower motor relay, you'll probably have a blower motor resistor, the blower motor itself. So we're gonna start by going through those. I'm gonna hope it's not the switch, fingers crossed up. So we're gonna troubleshoot the motor itself and the relay. I gotta have that blowing before we start anything else. I know for a fact the clutch is locked up on the compressor, so we're gonna have to deal with that. But before we even get to that part, let's make sure that we've got a blower motor shooting wind out. So typically your blower motor relay is gonna be up here, somewhere on this fire ice cube machine box. Ours is right here. They're usually a 3 or a 4 pin. This is a 4 pin. There's 2 here and 2 here. There's another one that looks like that. It could be over here or up over here. That might be a horn relay. So just take a gander at it and make sure that it's a 3 or a 4 pin. And basically this job is to pull power, usually directly from the starter or a different source. And it's just a switch essentially. So when you turn your control on, you're juicing this up, and that's shooting lightning over here to the blower motor. And there's a little resistor down there. Here's your blower motor with a 1-wire in. So I always like to start with the motor. It's so easy to test these. Just run a little wire right over to that wire, and when you touch them, that should start whirling. If it doesn't, well then it's, you know, that's bad. It's also good to make sure, and that's what this meter here is for, and I'm going to show you. We're going to make sure that we have power to the end of this, even though it's right here, just so we don't make a mistake. And then we're going to flip these and make sure that that's grounded properly so we don't have an earth issue. So that'll be good or bad. Then we can move on to a simple way to test that relay. So I got a little wire here. She's hooked up to 12 V's. Gonna reach down here, touch it to the single wire connector. Nothing. Blower motor, she ain't blowing. I'm gonna make sure that I got 12 V's on the end of this now. Yep, 12.59. So that's just making sure that I don't have a loose connection over here. Now we're gonna flip them. So I'll just hold power here, and I'm gonna touch the ground screw or the case of the motor. 12.59. So I know that the motor's grounded. So right out of the chute, we got a bad blower motor. Thankfully, GM is awesome with all of their parts. And this blower motor was probably used in 20 different models for 30 years. So I'm positive the parts store is going to have one. Next, we'll move on to the relay, but it's going to be easier for me to show you. You know, we'll get up on the doctor board. All right, fellers, relay is just a switch, and if I could figure this out, you should be able to. This is a relay, sure, pretend, okay? You usually have 2 like this and 2 like this, but yours could vary. I don't know what you got. Take a battery, some sort of battery device, needs to be 12 volts if you got a 12 volt system. Connect positive to one, negative to the other. You should hear this click, 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 click. And if you do hear it clicking, that's closing 2 of these terminals. If you don't hear it click, try put positive on this one and negative on that one. Might click, might not. It's not going to hurt the relay when you apply power to this. And obviously you've got the relay out of the car. Then what you do, if you're not hearing any clicking, just take either side. Let's say this side did click. That means the relay is working. But to test continuity, go to the symbol on your meter that has the Wi-Fi looking symbol. You know, the boop, 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 boop thing. Then, when you touch the 2 on there, this should go beep or tell you it's got continuity or something like that. If you've got nothing, switch them again, power and ground over here, hook your meter on to these 2, see if you got continuity. If you're having to go back and forth and you're not getting continuity and you're hearing no clicking, this thing is bad. If you're getting a clicking, you've got the right terminal for power and ground, but if you're not getting continuity, again, your relay is bad. In our case, we already know that the blower motor is bad, and hopefully, knock on wood, that's all. So we're just going to start there. In fact, I don't even think I could find a blower relay for that car and hope that that's the issue. If not, we might have to pull it out and actually do this test. So now you kind of maybe 3% know how that works. Fastest way to test it, here's the line that comes over from that and runs the blower motor. Just put your digital meter up on this and make sure you got lightning. In my case, I do. So I know that that's working and that's not. However, I'm getting all the V's. So I got to looking over here and one of these is unhooked. Here it is right here. It looks like mice got to it. And that could be the speed selector. I don't know how that works. some sort of resistor wheel or something in the, you know, in the car. But I think I got to hook that back up if I want fan speed selection. Maybe? I don't know. It's hotter than Peyton Manning's passing yard record in here. Anyway, called up O'Reilly's. They had a AC pump and the blower motor in stock. I got to go get that here in a little bit. But for now, let's switch gears a little bit. On the way home last night and the way here, I had some brake pedal fade. That's where when you hit the brake pedal, you know, it fades. And 99% of the time, that's a bad master cylinder. Really, the only other option is you got a leak somewhere. I'm gonna put a brake master. They also had one of those, so I'll be picking that up. We gotta take this one off so I can get the core. And then I also wanna service the Turbo 400 in here, drop the pan, see what it looks like, hope that it looks decent. Otherwise, we'll just close the eyes and pretend we didn't see it. Put a filter, fill that back up. I also wanna grease the whole thing, which is, you know, we're getting carried away here. I realize that, but let's just get it done. If a guy knows he's gonna be in here replacing one of these, it's a good idea to start juicing them way ahead of time. And I've been doing that for a few days now, just thinking that I might get to this point. And it's not necessarily even the threads, it's the line itself into the fitting. Because what can happen when a feller gets in here and you loosen this nut, for us that's not the case thankfully, it twists the whole line with it. So as you're loosening this nut, you're just destroying your line. When that breaks, you're either cobbling in a piece, which, you know, we'll pretend you didn't do that, or in this case, you're having to try to figure out how to get a line from the proportioning valve all the way up into the master again. This will help me not get this in my teeth when I pull it out. This is an actual, real life, true story. Every vehicle I buy now, the very first thing I do is start juicing up the brake master bolts, because I don't think I have ever had brakes. Have I? Not really. I guess the Scout had a little bit, but that's about it. Thankfully, both my fittings came loose, so far so good. I want to drop this transmission pan, change the filter, like I was saying, but it was looking like this, and I already kind of scraped that one, but I took the cheek poker to her, and boy is this thing, it's just really flimsy and rotten. One little bottom out coming out of the tavern on that, and it's game over. Same with the oil pan. That's from sitting in the mud and water all those years. Unfortunately, I don't have another 400 pan laying around, believe it or not. I got like 1199er million, 350s and R4s, but we're just gonna have to use this one for now. Gonna crack them all loose, keep two in the back, tilt on her, get most of it out, and then bring her down, and hopefully it's not too bad. It is shifting a little bit lazy. Did adjust the accumulator. And that's real easy on these. There's a little screw, set screw. Run it in to bring your shift firmness up, and run it out counterclockwise to bring her down, soften it up a little bit. I firmed this one up because it was a little lazy on the shifts. Let this ease out for just another minute, and then it should just be the pan that's left. Guy can bring that down and then, you know, help save on the floor a little bit. Captain's log, Tuesday, had tacos for lunch. This looks pretty good so far. We got bright red juice, doesn't smell hammered out or anything like that. I'll empty this out in the drain pan and then I'll take a look, but I'm not seeing, first glance, a ton of metal under there, anything like that, so we might be okay. It was definitely low. That could be contributing to the problem, but we're still gonna adjust the firmness and then put some Lucas stop slip in there, because that'll completely rebuild that transmission, you know. Oh, look at that, came off in one try. I'll be dipped. Got her pretty well empty, and it's not looking that bad at all. little pile of metal here, but not bad. There's a bug or a beetle or something in it. Must have came down the filler neck. But this is not bad at all. I'll be happy with this. If you want to see a bad one, go look at the 1968 Firebird I brought home from Michigan. There was a good 1/4 inch of, well, not a quarter, 1/8 inch of clutch material in the bottom of the pan. It was nuts. Never seen anything like it. This is going to be just fine. Completely normal. New filters up. And then guy went ahead and cleaned this up real good with some brake clean. Filled this with some lacquer thinner. And just shook them around against each other. You know, these look real nice. Cleaned them up. They're just full of oil and packed in with grease and stuff. So get this back up and top it off. Got the transmission topped off and just got back from the parts store. We did get a blower motor and we got a brake master, so I'll pop this in quick. Jessica and the kids just stopped by. She's gonna jump in. And how many cars have you bled with me now, do you think?
I couldn't even count if I tried.
It's gotta be over 100, so we're hooked in as far as communication goes. I'll get that plopped in, juiced up, and then we'll get started. By the way, I don't bench bleed these because they tell you to put them in a vise, then use the rod and bleed them and have hoses going into the reservoir, and don't stop that. If you just bolt it in, guess what happens when you press the brake pedal? You're also moving the plunger. So I just hold my thumbs as hard as I can over the portholes. She'll depress the pedal, I'll crack them. She'll do it again, I'll crack them, and we'll keep going until the pressure exceeds how hard I can press, which is 987,000 foot-pounds. Then I just hook in the lines, and then we just start bleeding, and boom, works every time.
How many pounds is that?
All of it, basically. Okay, just put my thumbs over the portholes here. Okay, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Got fluid out of the front. Up, down. Okay, up. Okay, hold on. So there we go. Fluid is exceeding what I can press, which is basically earth. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten the front one. And then we'll continue to bleed the back port here in a second. And then we just move to the wheel cylinders and we'll have this done lickety plus a split. Let's go with 21 foot-pounds. Boop, right there. Up, down. Got a little fluid. Up, down. Up, down. Up, down. Up. Okay, I think that's it for the rear. Plug this one in, and that's it. Master cylinder bled and installed. Piece of cake. We already have quite a bit of pedal, but of course we're gonna bleed them real quick. Gonna start in the rear. Okay, go ahead. Good over here, I can hear the wheel cylinder activating, the shoes are moving. A little bit of air there. Go ahead. How's the brake pedal feel?
Hard.
Pretty good?
Yeah. It's a lot of brake there.
What's going on, dude?
I'm sitting here.
Just hanging out?
Yeah.
Alright, I think that's it for the brakes. Couple observations here. This could have been worse. And it's got some mouse stuff in it, and you can see here on the hamster wheel, mice have been eating at that. Unfortunately, this new one didn't come with this, so we're going to be using this. And it's not going to be balanced anymore, but that's okay. But if you look in here, that's what they're supposed to look like. If you look in this one, she's a little packed up, you know. So that could be that demise. So we'll just get this vacuumed out really quick. I'm gonna shoot some Febreze, maybe stuff like 14 Happy Tree little air fresheners in there, and then just cap her off. I can also tell this is the original unit after doing about 14 million of these. When they get replaced, the bottom screw never gets put in because no one can reach it. Blower motor's in, and it does the blowing stuff. Down there, by the way, the courtesy lights just all of a sudden started working. Oh, maybe that one burnt out. Darn it. But that's really slick. And the bottom of the doors as well. That one must be burnt out too. So we're getting there. On to the compressor now. And this is kind of the big issue. This guy is completely locked up. And if I remember right, when I was out in that field, I think I just snipped the belt off of that. Now you can get just the compressor and you can put different clutches on and so forth. I'm not sure if you can buy just the clutch housing, and you can try to rebuild these as well, but I found a whole refurb unit for about 200 bucks, and I think that's the way that I'm going to go. It should just be, I think, 4 bolts, and then the lines back here, there'll be a big bolt. Pull that off. We'll swap that out quick, and then we're on to seeing if this actually will hold pressure. This has already been converted to 134. I tried to read the date and stuff, and unfortunately I can't. You know, the peepers aren't working that good. But you can see that adapter fitting is already on this. There is no pressure in it. So, could be bad. It's hard to say. When they sit that long, it's not uncommon that the systems have all just evaporated. So hopefully we could just put a new compressor in, belt, throw some juice in it and see if it'll kick on. And I don't know. There could be leaks in a lot of places. Old compressor is out. New one is in. That really wasn't bad at all. Just had to snake it under the lightning hoses and whatnot. Got a new belt here. Just reuse that one. That one seemed pretty decent. Got the digitals plugged in over here. So now we're on to seeing if this thing will hold a charge. I'm going to start with this first charge. It's got a bunch of lubricants and stuff like that. That's, you know, it's vitamins and whatnot for a new compressor. You don't necessarily need to do this if you've got an existing one. And then I'm going to throw a can of Arctic Freeze in. I don't know. It's got mountains and snow on it and stuff like that. And then I'll hit it with this guy because we also have a gauge. We don't want to overcharge it. Most compressors or systems will tell you on the box or on the compressor themselves what the charge is. This one is 4 pounds. And then a guy just uses the Google Webs and converts that to ounces. And then you can figure out how many cans you got to throw in it. But basically, you're going to need to keep filling it until the system senses it has enough pressure to actually engage the clutch. So that's what we're going to do. Fire it up, start shooting juice in, and hope that this thing actually works. If a guy wants to have some fun with this, you can pause up on the old motion picture flick there. Bleep bloop down below whether or not you think this AC is going to work, yes or no. I don't know. You can maybe throw maybe in there. Not sure. Always remember to crank her on max AC or max air or ice cube mode or fan high or whatever your rig's got. And then just start feeding her the onions. Pretty sure I'm already hearing a leak. I can see it circulating through the sight glass over here. There, it's circulating through the system there. So it seems to be holding a little bit of pressure so far. The guy did have a little bit of a leak back here. You can tell because of how it's leaking. That first start has green dye in it, so it's really easy to see. So I gave that another, 14 arm meters. I also confirmed that the clutch is kicking on and off just by cycling this from, sounds like a dying animal, vent to auto. And yeah, clutch is kicking on and off. Definitely needs a lot more ice cube juice though, so I'm gonna keep going here and see what's smoking. I don't know. just forget that. Anyway, got to put another can in, and then we're getting really close to seeing if we get some ice cubes out of the vents. So I got that leak snugged up. I just used some brake clean to clean that up, so that way after I tightened it, I could see if it was leaking again. Had a little leak there. That seems to have gone away. Still circulating just fine. Seems to be holding pressure. I keep checking with the gauge. I got an issue in here, but it's a problem for another day. I can't get it to come out of the vents. It's coming out of the floor. What do you think?
Cold.
Cold? I can't find my thermometer gun, but listen, fellers, there's 3 things that don't lie. Kids, country and western songs, and yoga pants. That is ice cold coming out of the floor vents. I don't know what the deal is. I can't get it to come out of the upper vents. This is what my controls look like. You can clearly hear it kick off. Nothing comes out of here. Even if I go to vent, nothing comes out of here. It just comes out of the floor. So if you know what I got to do to fix that, let me know. Man, we got a lot done today, fellers. For once, maybe twice. Against the odds. The odds are against us. There were odds that they weren't good. 1970 Cadillac has working, functioning, ice cold AC. Yeah, it only comes out of the foot vents, but still shooting in the cabin ought to be good enough. It's actually pretty cool if you think about it. This thing sat in a swamp all those years and it still functions. Still yet more to come on the Cadillac, so stay tuned. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Moses, is it 11 o'clock? Goodness.